guys, this is the last video in our second section on lead and soloing, and it is going to look at one more thing that we can do to bend notes, and it's going to stick with the same idea we've been working with about these two-string bending ideas. The difference is that this video is going to work on incorporating your pinky into it instead of your index finger. So in the past few videos we've done this, that idea of bending into your index finger. However, what we're going to do is instead of bending into your index finger, we're going to bend into the pinky. And it's going to give it a little bit of a different sound to it. So the way this works is you want to take your ring finger and put it on the 14th fret of the 3rd string. Your index finger and middle finger go behind it for support. And what you're going to do is you're going to give that a full bend. So a full bend on the 14th fret of the 3rd string. After you give it the full bend, you're going to place your pinky on the 15th fret of the 2nd string. So full bend, then 14th fret of the 2nd string with your little finger. There's a lot of different things you can do with this idea of bending into your little finger. You can start with your little finger. And then kind of do a downward bend from the top down under it. So there's a lot of different ideas that you can use with this thing. It's not too hard to get down. That's why I'm not kind of explaining it more, because there's really nothing more to explain. It's just a bend into, using your pinky on the next fret up and on the next string up. Now, this is something that you can use to incorporate into a lot of licks that you may have already been having. Like that. Now, I've kind of stuck with that lick on a lot of the past videos that we've gone through because I wanted to show you how little things can kind of change up the same type of lick. You don't always need to get a new group of notes or a new lick just to sound different. Sometimes you need to sit down and work with a more boring group of notes and just try to find a way to make them sound better. And once you start doing that, you can open up a lot of doors that you might not have otherwise been able to go through if you were always just looking for new notes when you wanted to try to get a new sound. So, as this is the last video in this series, the main thing, or the main takeaways from this section would be to start being able to use these two-string bends in different ways, whether it's just using your pinky, using your index finger, just the things that we've talked about, as well as knowing the different patterns of the pentatonic and the E minor scales, because when we come back to the 3rd section of soloing, we're not going to touch the E minor scale again, okay? Or at least to start. We are going to transpose that into a different scale, but if you learn the patterns, it's not going to be difficult whatsoever to do. In fact, it'll be very simple if you know the patterns, okay? So make sure you kind of go through, learn the patterns, learn the licks, start playing around, play around with the backing track a lot. The backing track really does help. Even if you don't sound great with it at first, because I know when I first started playing with backing tracks, it sounded horrible. It really does help because it kind of helps to keep you in time, as well as keep you learning how notes sound kind of in a scale and over other different chords being played in the background. So play around with that, and then when you come back, we'll see you in the 3rd section of rhythm, and then after that we'll come back and in the 3rd section of soloing, we'll hit different scales and how you can get an increased range in what you play, and how you can look at even some more skills to throw in. See you guys in the next section.